There was once a king who loved gold. All around his palace he would have golden bowls filled with golden coins, and he'd walk around his palace feeling the golden coins in his hand. He'd listen to the sound of them. Oh, that king, he loved everything about gold. There was only one thing that king loved as much as gold, and that was his daughter. The king loved his daughter. One day, the king, whose name was Midas, was walking in a forest, and as he walked through the forest, he came upon a strange creature. This creature had 2 horns on its head, a long white beard, and a big pot belly. Its legs were hairy, and it had a long tail. This creature was drinking wine, swaying from this way and that, and the king recognised him. He was an old satyr by the name of Silenus, and he was the teacher of the great wine god Dionysus. And so King Midas, he got the old satyr, and he led him back to Mount Olympus. And from the foot of Mount Olympus he called up, "Great wine god Dionysus, I have found your old teacher." Up on Mount Olympus, Dionysus, the wine god, looked down, and when he saw his old teacher, he was so happy. He flew all the way down to earth, and he held his teacher tight. And then he turned to King Midas. "You have done a good thing for me, Midas. And so in return, I shall offer you one wish. But choose wisely. You only have the one." And so King Midas thought, what is it that he should have? A wish from the god Dionysus. And then he had a great idea, a wonderful golden idea. Could it be, Dionysus, could it be that my wish is that everything I touch turns to gold? The wine god smiled wryly. And then he was gone. And the moment he had gone, King Midas felt the clothes around his body starting to stiffen as they turned from fabric into gold. He took his little finger and he bent down and he touched a single blade of grass. And the moment he touched the blade of grass, it turned into a spike of gold. He turned to an apple tree. He looked in the branches and he saw the apples. He looked and listened to the sound of the leaves as they rustled in the afternoon breeze. And then he ran to the tree and he touched the trunk turning to gold. Then the branches and the twigs, the leaves and the apples, no longer rustling but clinking and clanking. All of them gold. The king ran back to his palace. He pushed open the doors, and as he touched the doors themselves turned to gold. Stepping into his palace, he called out to his servants, "Prepare me a banquet to celebrate my golden gift." Soon the king was sitting before a table filled with fine foods while he was hungry. And so too quickly he reached out for a piece of bread, brought it to his lips. Biting into solid gold, his teeth broke, blood spurted from his mouth, so he reached for a goblet of wine. But the moment the wine touched his lips, it turned to shards of gold. Yuck! At that moment, his daughter burst into the room. "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy!" The king saw her coming. "Stay away, daughter!" But she loved him too much. She came too quickly, and the moment his daughter put her arms around him, she too turned to gold, solid gold, falling to the floor, clinking and clanking. The king fell to his knees. Tears streaming from his eyes, he looked up to the heavens. "Great god Dionysus, take back this golden gift. I don't want it." Up on Mount Olympus, the great wine god felt compassion. He too had a daughter. And so Dionysus flew down to earth and said to the king, "Listen carefully, Midas, and do this. I want you to travel all the way to the mountains on your own. Take no horses, no servants, and search for the place where the river Pactolus burst from the rocks. And in that place, I want you to wash yourself. Wash your hair, your head, your body, your clothes, your mind, your heart, and your soul of any desire of gold. And King Midas did just that, taking no one but himself. He walked into the mountains. He searched and he found the place where the river burst from the rocks. And there in the water he bathed, washing every part of himself, his mind and his heart and his soul. And when he stepped from the water, all dripping wet, things started to change. His golden clothes returned to fabric. And back in his palace, his daughter, all unknowing, turned from a statue back into her true self. And that night, when King Midas got home, he held his daughter tightly. He got rid of all the golden bowls and golden coins from around his palace, and never again did that king love anything more than love and life itself. Now, some people say, if you were to go to that place in the mountains, you might find the place where the river Pactolus bursts from the rocks. And if you stay there long enough, you might see at the bottom, if the light is right, shards of shimmering